Hi and welcome to this SOLIDWORKS tutorial to create and render a Valentine's Day card. All the parts to create the card are available to download from the blog. You will need a photograph for the card frame to add as a decal. In this tutorial, I will demonstrate some features in SOLIDWORKS Visualize, from the render aspect ratio, environments and backgrounds, editing and adding appearances. We're going to begin by creating the 3D layout of the card in an assembly. Feel free to create any layout you want for the card using all the parts. The layout I'm creating is for a portrait card, but you could create a landscape one like this, or place the parts in the assembly differently like this card. This is how I created my card, starting a new assembly and bringing in the LOVE letter part first. Check the pin icon here to keep the components list open. That way you can place the letters in order. Before I drop in the letters, I'm going to make the assembly planes visible by selecting the View drop-down, View Planes, and then Show Primary Planes. Viewing from the front, I'm going to sit the letters above the top plane like this. To level the bottom of all the letters, you will first need to right-click on the first letter you placed, which in my case is the L, and select Float. Next, I'm mating the base of the letters to the top plane. Starting with the L, make the base of the L coinciding to the top plane. For the O, I need to make the edge here coinciding to the top plane. I also need to make this edge to the top plane and change the mate type to parallel. Then mate the other two letters. Once they're in place, close the mates. I'm now going to straighten all the letters up from the front using mates. Select the mate icon and start mating the back face of the L to the front plane, but change the distance between the mate selections to 25mm and apply it. Repeat for the other three letters. Before closing the mates, tick the Use for Positioning Only box and OK the mates. This straightens out the letters ready for me to rotate them. View from the front and drag to space out the letters a little like this. I'm using Rotate Components by Delta XYZ to rotate the letters along the Y-axis. I'm rotating L by 15 degrees, O 5 degrees, V minus 5 degrees, and E minus 15 degrees. Ensure you have the letter selected before applying the rotation. I'm going to space the letters a little wider apart, again from the front, to look like this. Drag the front plane taller and select Insert Components. This time, bring in the frame part and drop it above the letters. Selecting the mate icon, make the back of the frame to the front plane. Then make the centre point of the frame to the right plane. Finally, make the centre point again, this time to the top plane, but add a distance of 135mm here. Apply all the mates. Now to bring in the heart parts using Insert Components. I have 3 different sized heart beads that were designed to go along the outer ring of the frame. Open all 3 and check the pin icon. Then I'm dropping in 3 large hearts near the outer ring of the frame, followed by 2 medium hearts and 5 smaller hearts. Feel free to add whichever sizes you wish. To make the hearts onto the ring, select one of the centre points on the outer circle sketches of the heart, then the mate icon. When the mate options open, select this circle sketch from the outer frame. It should snap on coincident. Apply the mate and then make the other side of the heart to the ring. To stop the heart being able to rotate on the ring and make sure that it runs along it, I'm mating the front plane of the heart to the front plane of the assembly. You may need to flip the direction of the mate using this icon here. Apply the mate, then repeat the process for all the other hearts. Once they're all in place, I can go into the assembly tree here, drop down the parts menu for each heart, and hide the front plane. I only need to do this for one of each heart size, and it will apply to them all. This makes the assembly look a little clearer to start dragging the hearts into place. You can place them in any order really, it's not important. It can be a little awkward to do, but grabbing the hearts by the vertex makes it easier to control the movement. With the hearts where I want them, it's time to add my photo or decal to the frame. To do this, select the frame from the tree, right-click and open the part. Selecting the inner face of the frame, go to the Edit Decal icon over here and browse for the photo you would like to add to your card. When the image opens, go into Mapping Options and change the mapping type to Projection. Then check the Fit to Height box. I'm dragging my image to the right to centre the hands in the photo. Then clicking OK to apply it. Save the frame part and close it. You should now see it applied in the assembly. Finally, save the assembly. To begin rendering it with SOLIDWORKS Visualize, select the SOLIDWORKS Visualize tab to find the export options for the model. For this model, I need to export Advanced. This then exports the assembly with all the parts. If I export Simple, it will export as one whole part, which makes it very difficult to change individual appearances of parts. When Visualize opens, the first thing I want to do is change the aspect ratio of the render window. This determines the dimensions of the final image. I need to select the camera icon, then aspect ratio here. Change the category type to photo and the size to 5 by 7 inches. For my layout, I also need the image to be vertical, so check this box too and OK it. Your needs may be different depending on the size of the card you're printing, or the orientation of your assembly. The window viewport here will change to match your settings. For the background of my card, I need to select the Environment tab. Dragging down the options here, you will see backplates. Where the green tick is visible, this shows the current applied backplate or environment. Selecting the point faded backplate, I want to hide this, so uncheck the visible box. Then selecting the current environment, I'm going to change this here and browse for the blurred studio environment. I like this one because the light reflections are blurred and softened on very reflective appearances such as metal. I will be changing the background to a colour. Before I do this, I need to brighten the background. Otherwise I won't get a true picture of the colour. Change the brightness here. You can just select inside the box and input to. Next, select the background type to colour from the drop down here. This allows you to have any colour of background you wish. To edit the colour, select the swatch. When the colour options open, you can manually input the values of the colour you want, if it's a specific colour that you need. Or you can just drag the colour bars or click into the colour box. Feel free to copy the values I input or choose your own. Once applied, close the box. I can change the view of my card with these view settings. I can also use the pan icon from this drop down to move the assembly to where I want it within the render window. To add floor effects, select the Advanced Settings tab and scroll down. Here you can add floor reflections, roughness and shadows. Again, you can just input or drag the values you want. For the reflection, I'm putting in 0.15. Adding 0.2 roughness softens the reflection. I'm also going to keep the floor shadows on, as it adds more dimension to the card. Right now I can tell that all the letters are floating slightly off the floor. To fix this, click onto the Models icon, select the Valentines card model here. The transform option should appear below. All I need to do is check Snap to Floor. This drops the model onto the floor like this. Moving on to the appearances, I had already applied base appearances to parts in SOLIDWORKS, but I didn't alter their colours or properties. Selecting the Appearances tab, you can see all the currently applied appearances. I'm happy with the front of the frame and lettering staying white, so moving on to the Polished Gold appearance, I'm going to change the colour to a rose gold. The appearance type in Visualize is metal. Selecting the colour swatch, I input the values I want and apply the colour. Then drag the roughness value to 0, so the appearance is as reflective or polished as possible. This makes a nice rose gold finish. This colour appearance is from the frame behind the decal. You can keep or delete this as it's not doing anything visually. Just press delete on your keyboard. All the hearts are currently metal. I applied a silver appearance to each of them as parts in SOLIDWORKS. However, I would like to apply 3 different appearances to different heart selections. To do this, go back into the Models tab and drop down the model tree to see all the parts. I know that heart 1 are the larger hearts, 2 is medium and 3 is small, so this helps me with the selection. But if you are unsure, you can hide and show the selected heart like this. You can select multiple parts while holding Control, and once you have some hearts selected, go to Edit and assign New Appearance. The new appearance will show here. I'm going to change the appearance type to metal, change the roughness to 0, and make these 2 hearts a bright pink colour. Then going back to the model parts, I'm selecting some more hearts and assigning a new appearance. You can, if you find this too difficult to select the hearts that you want, apply a new appearance to a single heart, but I prefer doing them all at once. With my second selections, I'm going to change the appearance type to metal. I'm adding a peachy colour, changing the roughness to 50 for a matte effect. Finally, for the remaining hearts, I can edit the polished silver appearance. Keeping the appearance type metal, I'm changing the colour to rose gold. The roughness should be 0, but for this appearance I'm going to add a texture. Go into the texture icon, select bump. For this I want the circle mesh alpha. Open the texture. Ensure enable texture is ticked and type is on bump. Right now the texture is too shallow, so input 200 for the depth. You should then see a preview of the texture become visible. The texture scale is too large, so change the tile size here to 5. This creates this jewel-like texture. You can, if you wish, invert the texture to come outwards, but I prefer it the other way. With all the appearances added, ensure your model is positioned ready for rendering. Then go to Tools and Render. You can select where you want your rendering saved here. If you have saved your visualized project first, your render will automatically be named. You don't need to change any of the other settings, just click Render. Once it is finished, you can open the rendered image like this. I uploaded my image to a Create Your Own Card website to have it printed just in time for Valentine's Day. You could do this too, or if you're low on time, just email it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching.